A call to action on collaborative efforts in closing the socio-economic gaps in the country through projects linked to the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The SDGs 2030 agenda is the world's roadmap for ending poverty, protecting the planet and tackling inequality. South Africa forms part of the global movement with hopes of SDG projects coming through to close the country's socio-economic gaps.
Over the past, I would say, 10 years, we can see that countries have been improving their national development plans. They have been trying to align SDGs priorities with NDP, and also they are trying to mobilize resources to implement initiatives on the ground in order to address all the issues you have highlighted. We are proud that we supported South Africa in 2020, 2021 with the second generation review where socio-economic development challenges have been highlighted, and we also encourage the country to implement the full free health insurance system.
This summit, which is in its infancy, comes as calls grow louder for collaboration in meeting the UN's SDG targets. Brand South Africa believes this will unlock growth opportunities for the country and see projects that will lead to job creation even beyond 2030.
What we often find is that Africa has common challenges, and I believe that when we share platforms like this, we are able to come up with solutions that are going to be synchronized, number one, integrated, but also the impact of these is going to be at a larger scale because there's that coordination and integration that has been lacking over the years. I mean, we are 30 years into our democracy. We know the SDGs were launched very early in the 90s. People are playing their part, but the effectiveness of the SDGs hasn't really been measured.
The summit also saw a presentation of the Socio-Economic Impact Assessment report by global logistics firm DP World, which tracked its operations in South Africa, revealing that 50% of South Africans live below the poverty line, challenging the private sector towards impactful sustainable projects that will create jobs.
There's 7 business priorities, including healthcare, safety, and then we've got 3 focus areas: women, education, and then water. And we've tried to look at that from all of those perspectives as well. I think for context as well, that you understand as well, we've used an independent party, organization called Accenture. I'm sure you guys know Accenture. But we use the World Economic Framework as a model to actually understand our, say, impact. So it's not something that, we've just fabricated. It's something that there is a structure, there's a framework, and we followed that framework to actually do that, to do the assessment.
With a fragile economy and climate emergencies, the role players at the summit believe the solutions should also be around the just energy transition and opportunities that will come through the Africa Free Continental Trade Area.
We know that social impact equates to economic impact. So we are trying to put together something that is a consistent conversation where the role players can interact, and as we heard earlier on in some of the conversations where we spoke about collaborations, how important it is for us to unite with government as well as corporates and NPOs. Remember, we have such a high unemployment country, high unemployment in South Africa. So we're trying to build social entrepreneurs.
The delegates also pinning their hopes on the Government of National Unity to align its efforts towards meeting UN and AU commitments with communities and their secure well-being in mind. The inaugural Socio-Economic Impact Summit drawing to a close with commitments around collaborations on social investments and targeted programs as South Africa races against time to meet the 2030 UN Sustainable Development Goals targets on collective transformation. Katlego Logodi, SABC News in Johannesburg.